one of the issues I'm having right now is figuring out where to do my podcasts. I overthink things a lot, okay? Like, right now I'm in my truck, which I think it has benefits. So, like, for example, I can I'm on my H4n Zune, and I can plug it in because then I don't have to worry about batteries, which is nice. But then, like, there's little sounds that bother me. Like, so is the fan on the heater too hot, loud? There's my inverter. It's in my armrest, but I can hear it humming. And these things just drive me insane. Like, you can't understand the agony this kind of thing brings me. These are the real problems of my life. What device am I going to use? Where am I going to use it? How is the setting going to be right? Like, I just go mad with these conundrums. And so I don't do my podcast because I'm sitting around, wringing my hands over stupid crap when I should just press the record button on whatever device I happen to have handy. So I'm trying this thing. We'll see. I don't know. 128 kilobytes per second. I don't know. Is that the right number of kilobytes per second? Should I be doing some other kilobytes per second? I don't know. I'm not happy with the microphone because I'm just using the microphone that's on the H4n. I have a much better microphone. Should I be carrying that around with me? This is my whole life. This is my entire existence. I'm just dissatisfied with my work. Like it's weird because I'm very, very, very blessed about how thankful I am for my family life, and I'm not lying about that. I'm not pretending about that. My personal life, I am so content. In fact, my personal life was so good early on that I was caught in kind of a desert of what to do next in my life when I was younger, like probably in my 20s, late 20s, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, right when I got married, because I was just so happy. I'm like, this is it. I did it. I've done everything I need to do. And then I'm like, okay, Sage, you got a few more years on this planet. I'm glad you're happy with your marriage, but you're really gonna need to do something else with your life. And then I spent the next 3 decades or 2 decades, taking off my coat, taking it off, being annoyed and upset about all the rest of my work. Everything just annoys me. I'm just annoyed constantly with my work. But honestly, like my family life, my marriage and my kid now, like, it's just heaven on earth. You just walk in that door and you're like, whoosh. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have like our little conflicts every once in a while, but they're not just a constant torment of agony and dissatisfying existence like my career. I just am always in my head so much better than who I really am in real life. It's a very God. So anyways, I'm here in my truck with buzzes and cars and hums and not the right microphone. I don't even know if I'm on the right kilobytes per second. But whatever, you just have to plow through it. It's truly a symbol of my life on Earth. I'm just like, then I do it anyways. That's not why I'm here to complain. You're not my therapist, although I appreciate you listening. I appreciate that. I'm too cheap for a therapist, so, I can podcast, and you can listen to my whining. That's pretty good, right? Hey, too cheap for a therapist? Get a podcast. Get a podcast. Welcome to the Sage Against the Machine podcast. That's yet another conundrum. I'm like, am I going to call it that? Is that really the name? Because I want to add things to it. And I'm like, then there's another layer of how annoyed I am with my life and myself. Just mostly it's myself. I'm just annoyed with myself. I'm like, Sage, just get over it. Do things. I have that guy in my life too. Just like, it's fine, Sage. It's all fine. Just press the record button and upload this stuff. Anyways. Yeah, welcome. It's going to be Sage Against the Machine because I like that. Somebody else came up with that name. A couple of different people came up with it. And I don't want to take credit for it, but I like it. It's catchy. And I've been listening to more Rage Against the Machine, and those guys are awesome. They're my, probably my spirit animal. Just anger and rage. And this is me on 20 milligrams of citalopram. My doctor did casually say, he's like, would you like to go up to 40 milligrams? I'm like, no, I don't need 40. Fine, I'm fine with 20. Leave me alone. And then I got out of there and I'm like, ooh, maybe he's right. Maybe a 40 milligram dose wouldn't kill me. So now I'm thinking about upping it to 40 because I don't know. It's hard to keep my rage under wraps. Anyways, that's not what this is all about at all. I have an agenda for this podcast, and that was not it. That was just the intro. Me whining. There's a reason I want to do this podcast. The reason I want to do this particular podcast today is because I feel like we as a charity have a very clear vision of how we are moving forward. And this year for me has just been I guess you could call it a rebuilding year. I mean, it was an everything year. It's not even rebuilding. I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's rebuilding. It's mostly just like taking the debris and just scraping it off to get to the foundation again. Now, that's not to say we haven't been doing things. The biggest things we've been doing are 2 transitional houses, and the measurement of one of the measurements of success of those is getting them off of the housing inspectors list. Our red house on Kent Place is officially off of the inspectors list, and I'm very optimistic that our Arlington Road, Arlington Street, Arlington Avenue, Arlington Drive. It's Arlington. It's just Arlington. Arlington Road. I think it's Road. Arlington Road? I don't know. House. I think we just finished all of the items. There's some logistical stuff I have to do with a plumber. And that's possible we can get that on the schedule this week. And then I think I'm done. And when I say I'm done, I mean they did it all. Anything that could be done without a licensed whatever was done by homeless people. Homeless people did all the work in both of those houses. I'm getting to a point where I'm forgetting what stereotypes of homelessness are, but I'm pretty sure most people think homeless people are just worthless pieces of crap. I'm pretty sure that's it. Like, if I were to, say, I'm going to turn this apartment building into a homeless transitional house, I guarantee people would flip out. You say the word homeless and they flip out, which is madness. And you know who flips out the most? Formerly homeless people. Maybe they know something. I don't know. Homeless people are just scorned by society, okay? I'm talking NIMBYs, not in my backyard, okay? They are scorned. And that is complete lack of education. What they're afraid of is, like, they'll say things like, I'm not going to have my daughter raped by a homeless person. Oh, and I'm like, so homeless people are daughter rapers? That's what you think? Like, no, they're without a home. That it has nothing to do with their criminal background. They're without a home. My dad was out without a home. I don't think he's raped any daughters ever. Ever. Maybe you know people that were homeless that surprisingly didn't rape any daughters. I know a lot of homeless people, and I don't know of any that have raped daughters. But yet those are the things. Or even panhandlers. People will say, I'm afraid for my daughter having to drive through the streets of Akron with those panhandlers just loitering on the corners. What do you think is going to happen, and who do you think they are? These are stereotypes that are going to require a great deal of re-education by society. Which leads me to one of the things I'm going to do. One of our donors here actually asked if we could do, on Patreon, if I would do stories. And that's a genius idea. And that's what I want to start doing, is more stories. And I would like to follow people, and I could tag them by their name if they'll let me. I think they'd be more comfortable doing audio stories than like video stories. So, like, I think an audio podcast is good that way. So, So that's very interesting to me. But it all boils down to what we are as a charity. And we have retooled our mission statement, and I guess I'll read it to you. It says, okay, our vision is helping all of us realize we all have worth and deserve dignity. So one of the things that we have found is that people in the homeless community feel worthless. They feel like just pariahs on the system, just parasites, just hanging on, eating the scraps of, leftovers. They just feel like, well, like what I told you. They hear what people think of them, which are evil, worthless, drug addicted, insane, dangerous criminals. Like, I don't know if you think you're just saying those words without them hearing them, but they're hearing them. And they're internalizing them, and it's making it worse. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the collective you. Obviously you are supporters of the homeless. But I would imagine you might have friends and family who have these potential kind on a spectrum. They have on this spectrum something like that, those thoughts, like, panhandlers are just gaming the system. They go home to their big fancy houses. They're just making tons of money. Homeless people are just lazy, no good losers. And what we all have to do, a big part of solving homelessness, is changing these stereotypes. And so, sometimes people ask, well, what can you do? And one of the things that you can do is you can share the reality. And I need to help you with that reality, you see. So that's as huge as anything. We are not going to get rid of homelessness in America the way it currently is, with the income inequality that exists. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. It's just the state of affairs. I'm not blaming any political party. I'm blaming both political parties, quite honestly. And it is what America is right now. It probably won't always be that way, but it is that today. And so consequently, in places like San Francisco and Seattle and Los Angeles and San Diego and New York City, the cost of housing is San Francisco. Did I say San Francisco? The cost of housing is too damn high. It's too high. And so, you're finding like professors living in their cars because they can't afford housing. But in a town like Akron, where the median income, hold on, let me see. What's the median income of Akron, Ohio? I want to get the number right.
$56,106.
No, that's not right. That's
according
not
to
right.
Department of Numbers. The current
that's
median
Summit.
household income for Akron is 50.
It's not, lady. That's Summit County. That's Summit County. Akron, Ohio median income. It's not that, lady.
$56,106.
It's not. No, that's not right. That's the Summit County one. Here, this is it. Akron, Ohio. The population. Okay, look, just so I'm not lying to you. Like, if you go to that, when they talk about the 56,000 one, that's the population of 703,000 people, okay? That's the metropolitan area of Akron, a population of 703,000 people. That's the metropolitan area of Akron, Ohio. When you get to the city of Akron, Ohio, with a population of 198,252 people, with a 0.129% decline, the median household income is $36,223. Okay, so $36,000, and again, that's the median income. If you live in Akron, Ohio, think about what you make right now. Do you make $36,000? I bet not. You either probably make way more than $36,000 or you probably make way less than $36,000. But $36,000 is the number in the middle. And the number in the middle is crap. Specifically because, hold on. What's the median income of the United States of America?
According to the balance, the mean income per capita was $48,150.
Okay,
the Census Bureau reports those in the current population survey, table PINC01. Real median household income was $61,372.
Okay, so per capita it's $31,000. Per household it's $61,000, almost $62,000. Okay, so if you imagine what we are, 36,000 in Akron, 62,000 in the United States, that should give you a feel for where we are as a city. We're poor as dirt. We're poor as dirt. And that's fine. That's fine. It is who we are. And that's how you first start with anything. You're like, it's fine, we're poor. You never, ever, ever, ever are going to change anything by walking in and being like, this sucks. You people all here, you suck. You make way too less money. You need to make more money. Go back to school. Go away. Go do something. Stop ruining my numbers. I need a higher number. And you're ruining it all, you really dirt poor people that are making like $750 a month on Social Security. We have to come together, and we have to all, myself included, we have to find our own dignity. Hold on. We have to we got to create dignity. Hold on. Everything, my amazing studio here, there it is failing me. Okay, here we go. So, the vision is helping us all realize we all have worth and deserve dignity. We will never, ever, ever solve anything until we all realize that we have worth and deserve dignity. Now, here's the mission to that regard. Our vision is that we all are fine. We're all fine. All of us. We have to stop judging everyone. We are never going to solve the problems in America by judging people out of it. We're never going to do it. Our mission. We recognize the worth and dignity of the homeless population. That's step one. That as a charity, we look at homeless people and be like, oh, yeah, they've got worth. They deserve dignity. Because look at them. Look at the house that they repaired. Look at the trash they clean up. Look at the scrapping that they do, taking metal out of our landfills and taking it over to the scrapyard. They're some of the great conservationists of America. They're going through taking all this metal that people are just going to throw away, and they take it to the scrapyard and they make money. I wish that we could do that with glass. That would be amazing. If literally, if we could pay homeless people to collect plastic, I really believe we would end the plastic epidemic in America. That, you know, they would do it all day, every day. All day, every day. So anyways, that's the step one. We recognize the worth and dignity of the homeless population. Step two, we help reaffirm the worth and dignity of houseless people through work and community. That's how you do it. That's how you develop worth and dignity, through community and work. So our community is the thing that we learned the most with our tent village. That was the breakthrough. We are now realizing that there is incredible pride in a job well done. And so we see it on the people that are, we see it with the people that are repairing our transitional houses. So our transitional houses in the future really could become these work projects for homeless people to build their self-worth and dignity. And then you create houses to help homeless people get off the street. Do you see? And then you create a community within the house. Do you see how it's like a fulfilling, perpetual motion concept? Buy a rundown house, have homeless people fix it up, move homeless people in it, create a community. Buy another house, have more homeless people fix it up. Do you see? But so our houses are a good tool for that, but our micro enterprises are also really good. Like, so in our Friendsgiving, we sold handmade candles. Gary Mikes sold a candle for $22, and he's still talking about it. It was like last week. He's all excited about making more candles. Because why? Because it gave him worth and dignity by creating something people wanted. It's that simple. So as a charity, we help reaffirm the worth and dignity of the houseless people through work and community. Okay? We then help the non-houseless people that are not houseless, realize the worth and dignity of houseless people by bringing us all together through work and community. So, for example, this past weekend we had a house decoration. We decorated our 2 transitional houses with the people that live there and volunteers. And that is huge, connecting eye to eye houseless people with non-houseless people. It's huge. And I think telling stories online of houseless people, of what they're going through and what they're experiencing, could help with that as well. We have to get the non-houseless population to realize the houseless population has worth and dignity. And they are not evil. I mean, literally, that's where we have to start. We have to be like, okay, this just in, houseless people are not evil. I think by filling that void, being like, hey, look at this houseless person. They're not raping and pillaging right now. In fact, they're making candles. They're making bead bracelets, and you can buy them. They're renovating houses to help other houseless people get into a house. And that's the cycle. We recognize the worth and dignity of the houseless people as a charity. We help reaffirm their worth and dignity as a charity. And then we help non-houseless people realize the worth and dignity of houseless people. And then our community then gets bigger. And then we go again, and we go again, and we go again, until society as a large is not afraid of houseless people. Okay? Now, if a houseless person is a criminal, they should not be houseless, they should be in jail. That's as simple as it should be. I'm not in any stretch of the imagination saying, hey, if you're homeless, if you're houseless, go out and do whatever you want. You deserve it. No, 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 no. You must abide by the laws of the land. That's why we work very closely with parole officers. We always had parole officers come to our village because they knew where their clients were. Is that what they call them? Clients? I don't know what they call them. It was wonderful. Now I have parole officers coming around asking me if I've seen so-and-so. No, I haven't seen them. They're buried in the woods somewhere, hiding, terrified somebody's going to find them. I don't know where they are. I don't know. That's where we're headed. We are building worth and dignity around community and work. Those are the 4 words. Worth, dignity, community, work. That is how we all cycle up. That's how we all cycle up. Community and work increases our worth and dignity. Community and work increases our worth and dignity. I'm going to say it one more time. Community and work increases our, what? That's right. Worth and dignity. You see? Do you see? That is how human beings exist. It's not about just stuffing people in houses. It is about treating the condition of homelessness, which is usually brought on by a catastrophic loss of family and a lifelong series of seriously traumatic events, and then propagated by a continual loss of family and more traumatic events on the street. That's our community stops that. A good community stops the trauma and puts a new family in place. We have to boil these things down. We have to understand why homelessness happens. And of course, there's just the economic part of it. Things are, people are dirt poor in Akron, and so they fall out of the bottom homeless. Housing is too damn expensive in these big metropolitan cities in America, and they can't afford housing. And then we have the psychological effect of losing worth and dignity, and experiencing catastrophic loss of family, and living through perpetual traumatic events, usually, I think, since childhood. That's where we're going. That's the mission, okay? And one of the goals, and now I need to add goals to that, and one of the goals is telling stories on here, Sage Against the Machine. I'm just going to call it Sage Against the Machine. It's fine. It's fine. It's a play on words. I like it. It appeals to me. It's catchy. Sage Against the Machine doesn't have to always be angry, right? I'm just trying to change the discussion in the machine, So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. All right? I don't know if this turned out at all well, or sounded well, or is good, or I don't know, but whatever. I'm putting it online. If you want to hear particular stories, or you want to know particular things, just leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for being a supporter of ours. It is, it's the only way we obviously, a guy by the name of Sage Against the Machine is not going to have really any money from the machine. So we have to do things privately, and that gives us a tremendous amount of freedom. A person, I don't want to divulge their name because I didn't ask permission, but was high up in, not now, they're retired, but was high up in the continuum of care at one point, said that HUD is prescriptive. HUD tells you, that's where you get all your money from in the government. They tell you exactly what to do. And for example, transitional housing is not what you do. That's not what they're paying money for. They're paying for housing first. Permanent housing. And the fact of the matter is, if you ask anybody in the homeless service provider sector, you're going to find that people are challenged by Housing First. Housing First is challenging for some severely, chronically homeless people. Everybody knows the stories of people putting up their tent in their living room or keeping the windows open, in the middle of the winter. And then, of course, there's just stories of people just walking out of free housing, just leaving it because it's too difficult. It's too difficult. It's too big of a jump. And transitional housing, I think, is critical. It's critical. It's critical. Okay? Look, I'm going to leave this with one gross story. When people are pooping in your shower, people that are living on the street, they need to be re-domesticated. They aren't doing it because they hate you, because, they're taking a shower, they're thankful. They're doing it because they've lived for years and years outside. And you just poop wherever you poop, That person does anyways. You've got to re-domesticate people. And it takes time. It takes community. You just do. You just do. So anyways, aren't you glad you stuck around for the end of that so I could tell you that terrible story? Because that's a true story. All right, everybody. I love you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time on Sage Against the Machine.